Good morning, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? This will be sports, and then I will do a economics one right after. Happy Sunday. So. We had two games yesterday. The one game I played was Georgia Tech plus 16 and a half against Uglia Buglia, which really was easy. I thought they'd win straight up. I know I like King. I like their coach. I love their play calling. I was watching part of it at the club. And Uglia Buglia, this is the problem with running quarterbacks. They move the ball, but they don't score touchdowns. This you see with Trey Lance. This is what you see with Lamar. This is what you see with most of these guys. So they can run for 10, 15 yards at midfield, but when it gets the field's reduced to you're at the 15-yard line and there's no end zone because, they can run out. Hey, Real D. The dog was barking yet. Well, Georgia Tech, I thought should have been favored in the game because Uglia Buglia, we know, is a terrible quarterback. And we know how good Georgia Tech's coach is, and we know how good Georgia Tech's quarterback is. The question was their defense. And they looked okay. Not a killer defense. They gave Uglia Buglia 21 points, which is shocking. But overall, Florida State can't win with Uglia Buglia, which we knew going in. So why is he playing? Why did they transfer him is just a mystery. You're telling me they couldn't have got a 5-star freshman who's really good and just, okay, we'll play him for the first few games. Or maybe they're waiting on him. I would think Uglia Buglia's got 2 more games left and then he's done. They're not going to go 0-3. But I wasn't surprised Georgia Tech won. I was surprised in the Nevada game that it was that close, but let's break that game. So let's break down Florida State first. Again, Uglia Buglia can't make the big throws, can't score. Georgia Tech moved the ball as we thought. Florida State's defense, I'm sure, is good, but against Georgia Tech, when you have a good coach, they know how to gain yards. And I was watching, and it was like 3rd and 15 at midfield, and I go to the guy next to me. I'm on my bike, and I said, watch the crossing pattern, and crossing pattern, first down. I said, they're gonna win the game. They're gonna score. And sure enough, they go in for the touchdown. But Uglia Buglia doesn't know how to change plays. Hey, Greg and John. There was a play, it was like 3rd and 5, 2nd and 5, whatever. And he hands off to the guy going left, and the safety just stones him for a 1-yard loss. He didn't read the defense, and he didn't change the play. This is why I get on the Lamars and half these guys about they don't know how to read a defense. That's the point. He ran the guy right into it. Then I saw another pass. He threw the ball to the guy, and he got plastered because the safety was all over him. The safety for Georgia Tech looks really good, by the way. So he throws this pass. He looks at him like the whole time, and then he throws it to him, and here's the safety, a 1-yard loss because Uglia Buglia is staring him down. Uglia Buglia can't read the defense. That's the point. Yeah, great athlete. I don't care. We're betting. We don't care that they're good athletes. So Georgia Tech in 16 was a joke. I got them with a game next week. SMU, Nevada. Now, what happened in this game? Okay, this is the point of we have to see Nevada. They have a returning quarterback, and they were at home, and it was a big spread, 27. I thought about SMU. I would have bet it over had I known it was going over. It was a 53. The over-under was 56, but I didn't trust Nevada would score that much. So I know Georgia Tech, and I like that one. But SMU, again, 27-point favorites on the road at Nevada, and we don't know. So Nevada, what they did was they ran the ball a lot. The quarterback didn't do anything throwing the ball. He was like 130 yards, but he ran a lot. He ran a lot of options. So it's like, it's like a Hurts or Trey Lance or some of these guys who run a lot. He had about 150 yards rushing and 130 passing, but there was nobody else on the team. but it was week one. SMU had a good defense last year and probably will again this year, but they got caught first game. It's Nevada, and they let down a little. They did win the game at the end. Stone didn't look bad from what I didn't see the game from the box score. So my prediction in that game was 45-17 SMU, and they win 29-24. So I have predictions for all the games you'll get in class when you sign up for the class, but I ain't giving them here. So 29-24 SMU. Now we know a little bit more about SMU. We know a lot more about Nevada, but Nevada, they shot their load here. Now everybody knows they really don't have an offense, really didn't have much of a defense. Yeah, they'll probably still be a W team. But again, that first game, now the defensive coordinators, the other team will look at what we did and they'll shut it down. It happened with us with New Mexico State last year when UMass's quarterback came out and he was a runner and they weren't prepared for it. And then after that, they beat Auburn, New Mexico State, and whatchamacallit, and Massachusetts didn't do anything the rest of the year. They saw it and they go, okay, here's how we defend it. So it's a little bit of week one. That's why you got to be patient week one. Georgia Tech, I knew what I was getting because Kings was there last year. So we start off 1-0 with Georgia Tech. I don't have a lock this week, but I do have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks and 4 over-unders. So I have 11 picks posted. So if you go to the Teaser King site and you purchase the picks, you got it. If you buy the class, we'll walk through it with my projected scores and anything else. Anyway, so that's yesterday's breakdown. Stone looked fine. SMU will be fine. Again, this is the problem. The week one, you got to get your timing down. This is why I bitch at the pros. You guys, the Lions haven't even played their starters yet. Well, week one, all of a sudden they're ready to go. Get bullshit. You got to get your timing in a real game, not in practice, down. These guys could throw to each other until they're blue in the face. If they don't do it in a game, they don't. So we'll get into pros in a minute. So the 29th, we've got North Carolina, Minnesota, both with new quarterbacks. So we've got to watch and see who does North Carolina have. We know what we get. They got a weak defense, and they're going to throw the ball. Minnesota, I don't know. They normally have a strong defense, well coached, not much of a quarterback usually. So not a big offensive team. They're usually an under, but again, we got to see it. What's new? Great question. Coastal Carolina, Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State 27 defense, Coastal Carolina 25. Coastal Carolina's quarterback comes back, and a new quarterback for Jacksonville State. Again, this is Rich Rodriguez. So you expect a lot of points from Rich Rodriguez, although they had a 20 defense last year. So we'll have to see how that pans out. That's the 29th. And then the 30th, we got Florida Atlantic, Michigan State. Michigan State 11.5, 46.5. Both have new transfer quarterbacks. Michigan State has the Oregon State coach, so that's very good. Florida Atlantic has a new transfer quarterback, but how good's this guy going to be? Probably third string somewhere else. And he came to Florida Atlantic to show why he was third string and somewhere else. Oklahoma Temple, Oklahoma 42.5, 60. This is a tough one. They got a new quarterback who's more like this guy from Nevada. He's more of a running quarterback. He's probably fast, so he's probably like, I don't know if he's as good as Kyler Murray, but it's that idea. He's a real fast guy, maybe like a Jalen Hurts. Can he throw the ball? Probably not that good. But against Temple with the 36 defense, Oklahoma should be able to move the ball. And I like when they're at home more. So what happened in Nevada was at Nevada. So SMU took them lightly, which is what you got. They're not really a team I'm going to lay 25 points on the road with too often. Maybe in week 4 or 5, when I see Nevada can't hike the ball, or if they're playing Connecticut or UMass, I might do it. But we don't know. Trey Lance threw 5 interceptions. Trey Lance sucks. Yankees are up and down. Okay, so what's your point with that one? All baseball teams are up and down. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. That's why I talk streaks. Trey Lance sucks. I don't know what Dallas is doing wasting time. We'll get into the pros in a minute. Then we got Western Michigan, Wisconsin. Wisconsin out to prove something. Always have a good defense. Now they got Van Dyke. Can they wrap their offense around Van Dyke like they tried to do with Mordecai last year? Again, it's at Wisconsin. I think the spread's a little high, 24. But we'll see. And again, you got new transfer quarterback. Well, we know what Van Dyke is. We don't know the Western quarterback. And the last game, TCU, Stanford, the spread's up to 8.5. Stanford with a weak defense last year. Now, this is, be careful. It's at Stanford. But they have the same quarterback. He's not very good, but we know what the quarterback is. So they can look at film from last year. I expect TCU to have a good year. They have a good offensive-minded coach, so I'm expecting them to bounce back. We know how good they were 2 years ago. But Hoover's a kind of a weak quarterback, so hopefully he got a little bit better. We will see. It's 11-13. All right. So that's really next week. That's Thursday, Friday, and we'll get into Saturday. The key games, West Virginia, Penn State, Ohio State and Akron, Georgia, Clemson, Florida and Miami, Vegas and Houston, Western Kentucky, Alabama, UCLA at Hawaii. Hawaii beat a Division II team last night. Fresno State, Michigan. Fresno State wins. It's not a surprise to me. Notre Dame, A&M, Notre Dame, Riley Leonard's. I don't know. He's not all that. He's a decent running quarterback, but he had 3 touchdowns and 3 picks last year. Arizona, New Mexico. New Mexico lost to a Division II team yesterday. USC, LSU should be a very good game, explosive game. And that's what we've got coming up, which we'll talk more about. So anyway, yesterday, Georgia Tech, not an upset, beats Florida State 24-21. And SMU, late in the game, pulls out the win, 29-24. So if you're going to email me about free picks, please don't. There's no free picks. You go to your attorney. Oh, yeah, give me a free 2 hours of consultation. Some guy gave me, oh, where's the free pick? Where's the lie? Well, buy it like everybody else. And he gives me his picks. I don't want your picks. I don't care. Why do people think I care about their picks? I don't care about your picks. I'm the one who does the picking. And I don't have time to read your picks. I'm not going to bet them. If you bet them, fine. But if you're not, you're not listening to me if you're not a customer. Now, if you're a customer, it's different. Then you email me saying, this is what I want to do, a 5-team teaser. Can you give me 5? If you're a customer. But you have my picks. So, anyway, this guy's, I don't know. I don't really have time to read emails about their picks or about give me a free pick because why? Do you email Vegas and ask for free picks? Anyway, I want to get that out there. All right, so that's college. So we go 1-0 with Georgia Tech getting 16 points, which was a fucking joke. All right. We'll do pros in a minute. Let's do baseball. 8:25. Oh, okay. Oh, I had the wrong date written down. That's weird. Huh. Is it 8:25? Am I looking at it right? Huh. Okay. All right, let's go to baseball. So in college football, what we're trying to do is get. There you go, Luke. Bonds enters Pirates Hall of Fame. I can't believe he wasn't in the Pirates Hall of Fame. Where's Bobby? Was Bobby there? All right. It's 11:17. We got a 12 o'clock game, Washington, Atlanta. DJ Hurts 2-6 with the 415. Ronaldo Lopez 7-4 with the 205. We're going to take Atlanta here. 2 units. This is 12 o'clock. Arizona, Boston. Boston 139.5. Merrill Kelly 3-0 with the 363 against Tanner Houck. 8-8 with the 301 in Fenway. I'm going to go under. Boston under. 9.5, 2 units. I understand it's in Fenway. It's 9.5, and you got 2 pretty good pitchers. Colorado and the Yankees. I think Colorado killed them yesterday. Yankees 275-9. Austin Gomber. This guy really sucks. 4-8 with the 464. Marcus Stroman 8-6. So we'll go over 9 here. We'll go 3 units. Now, you got to understand that every team in every sport and us go in streaks. But I'm playing poker. I might catch aces, ace, king, ace, queen. Then I might sit there with 2-7, 2-9. I sat there once, and I give it about 45 minutes where I didn't get a hand. I got 2-7, 2-9, jack 3, 10-3. I kept getting 2s and 3s. And after 45 minutes, I laughed, probably down $20. I wasn't getting cards. My streak was bad. See, I'm so far over the level of most players. They can't even comprehend what I'm doing. I'm sitting there looking at my streak. Am I getting cards or not? Then I take it further. If I'm getting cards, am I winning with it? So I get pocket aces and I'm losing, I walk away. If I get 8, 9 of diamonds and I'm winning, and I get jacks and I'm winning, then I stay. If I get 3, 7 and 2, 9 and 4, 8 for a half hour, 45 minutes, I get up and leave. The streak on my cards are bad. But nobody understands that, right? I'm playing streaks, even in poker, even like that. And that's how I do it. And I think it's a key thing. But in sports, the Yankees are going to win and lose. Boston, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, they're going to go hot. They're going to go cold. The Tigers, who knows what they do? They're in their own little world. Worst manager in the league. And that's the thing I want to talk about. It's the worst coaching, managing I've ever seen in my life. Right? So I lived through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s, 10s, 20s. I've never seen worse managers in my life in baseball and worse coaches in football in my life. These coaches are fucking idiots. That's why it's so hard to bet when you got idiot managers and coaches. They don't know what they're doing. They're just using the math. Well, the math says I should do this. I should pinch it with a lefty, and I should do this with the righty. And the Tigers are so stupid. Their manager, he'll put 7 lefties in the lineup. You know how stupid that is? So all the other teams got to do is bring a lefty in, and now you need 7 pinch hitters. Interesting. And he pinch hits with guys that hit 100. I love that. He'll have a 250 hitter. He doesn't have any 300 hitters. He's a 250 hitter, and he pinch hits with the guy hitting 110. Because he's a righty, and the lefty can't hit lefties. I've never seen a team with so many hitters that can't hit the same. Like, so really, it's the 260 hitters are really fake because that's just against right. If it's a lefty hitting, it's fake because he's only hitting against right-handed pitching. He's not hitting against lefties. They're hitting so bad they can't hit lefties. And then I hear the manager, well, he's got to wait until he lets the lefties hit against the lefties. I'm like, this is major league. They should have done this in AA and AAA. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. So this is all minor league crap anyway, but I wanted to vent. Okay, so we got the Yankees over 9. Colorado just horrible. They don't hit well, but they did score 12 runs yesterday, so we'll give them some credit. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. Cincinnati's favored 115-9 on Barry Bonds Day, or was that yesterday? Nick Martinez, 6-6 with the 3.64, goes against Luis Ortiz, 5-4 with the 3.56, over under 9, can either hit. I'm going to pass on this game. These are the games that get you in trouble. Nick Martinez, 6-6 with the 3.64. Luis Ortiz, 5-4 with the 3.56. Now, if I had to bet the game, I'd take the dog. I'd take Pitt because they're plus 115. But either pitcher can shut out the other team or let up 8 runs. The managers are too stupid. They want 5 innings out of the guy. So even if the guy gives up 10 runs, he pitched 5 innings. Oh my God, what a bunch of idiots. So this is the game you got to be careful on. Unless you know the pitchers, and I don't know Nick Martinez and Luis Ortiz. California against Toronto. Tyler Anderson, 10-11, 340 against for California. Kevin Gausman, 11-9, 4.24. You think Kevin Gausman's good, and then you go, he's 11-9 with the 4.24. I guess he sucks. 8 here. I'm going to go over 8. I don't know. Tyler Anderson, 340. I'm not going to be scared. All right. Toronto over 8. Now, I notice Sundays are weird days. Sundays are always you're kind of getting ready to travel. The 200 hitters play. They give the guys a rest. The Tigers used to do that. Kirk Gibson wouldn't play on Sunday. Alan Trammell wouldn't play on Sunday. That was Sparky's way of getting the bench players in, was on a Sunday, resting his guys. Amazing. Texas and Cleveland. Cleveland 130-8. We got Cody Bradford, 4-1 with a 3.56. Matthew Boyd used to play in the Tigers, sucked, but he's 0-0 with a 3.38. Again, you got 3.38 against 3.56. I'm going to go under here. Cleveland under. Because of Cleveland's bullpen, I'm going under 2 units. I don't know. Boyd stinks. Bradford 4-1 with a 3.56. Who knows? And neither team, they're struggling hitting. So we'll see. Cubs in Miami. The Cubbies minus 185.9. Javier Assad, 6-3 with a 3.11 for the Cubs. Adam Euler, 0-1 with the 9.64. We're going Cubbies. That's an easy one. 3 units, Cubbies. Detroit at the White Sox. Detroit 155-9. Bo Brisky, he'll pitch his 1 inning, and then they'll bring in the starter because the starter's too scared to pitch. Can you fucking believe this? They won't start the starter because he has a bad first inning. So we're going to bring in the bullpen to pitch the first inning. Then we're going to have the starter try to go 3 or 4 innings. Even if he gives up 6 runs, he'll go 3 or 4 innings. And then get to the bullpen. What a great manager. This guy. See, the problem with him coaching Houston is either he's incompetent because they were the ones with stealing the signals with the trash can, or he's a liar where he knew about it and says, I didn't know about it. If he didn't actually know about it, he's incompetent. How do you not hear the garbage can and not understand they're doing signals? So if you're saying you don't know, you're a liar. Either way, you're not my manager. He won because of Verlander and Altuve. He didn't win because he can manage, because he can't manage. Tigers are they should be 10 games higher if they had a good manager and they had a good GM. I love their strategy. Well, we're going to play all these minor leaguers in the majors. And then the quote is, well, because the major league pitching. You don't have major league pitching in the majors except for maybe 10 guys. The rest are trash. So you're not learning anything. And you got a bunch of 250 hitters, and you won't bat lefties against lefties, and you won't bat righties against righties. Just thrilling managing. We got to baby these guys. Oh my God. All right, so Bo Brisky, the reliever for 1 inning, so we don't care about his ERA, against Jonathan Cannon, 2-7 with the 4.26, who seems more like a starter. The problem with the Tigers is you have no idea what the game's going to be. It could be 2-1, it could be 10-9. You have no idea because they can't hit. Let's see. Jonathan Cannon, is he righty or lefty? Are we going to get, he's righty. So we're going to get the 7 lefty batting order, which works until Chicago brings in the lefty out of the bullpen. And then they got to pinch hit 7 guys. Just great strategy. Sounds good. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad the sound's working. You got to go over. Well, it's hard to go over with the White Sox. But the Tigers have all the lefties in, so maybe they'll score. Let's go over 9. And we'll just go 2 units. Philly KC, now this is a good series. Philly 140, over under a 10. What are they kidding? Kobe Allard 1-1, 1-0 with the 3.46. Seth Lugo 14-7 with the 3.02. Over under 10. We're going under here. KC under 10, and I'll go 5 units on this. Are you kidding me? Seth Lugo is a legitimate 14-7 with a 3.02. Kobe Allard sounds like a bullpen guy, but 10. This is Kansas City, not Colorado with the 10. St. Louis Mini. So we're going under in that game. St. Louis Mini. Eric Feedy for St. Louis, 8-7, 3.39. Zebby Matthews, 1-1 with a 3.60. Sounds like Happy Gilmore. Again, this is one of those many can hit St. Louis. Okay, let's go over 8.5 here. Go 2 units. Milwaukee against Oakland. The Packers against the Raiders. Super Bowl number 2. Milwaukee 145-8. Frankie Montez for Milwaukee 6-8, 4.57. Joey Estes 5-6, 4.44. 2 minor leaguers. It's hard. The over/under is 8, but Oakland doesn't hit. So I guess we could take Milwaukee. Again, this is all coin flips. I don't bet coin flips. All right. Frisco and Seattle. Seattle 145-7. Robbie Ray 3-2 with the 4.88 against Ric Flair. Brian Wu 5-2 with the 2.12. I'm going with Ric Flair. Seattle 3 units. I'll take the Wooer. Maybe Ric Flair will be there. He's at a Comic-Con I was reading on his Twitter in Denver. It's like, hey, poor Rick. He's lost. Tampa Bay and the Dodgers. The Dodgers is 250-9. Jacob Lopez 0-0 with an 8.44, and the Dodgers Gavin Stone. Yeah, you got to take LA here. 3 units. I was talking to the guy on my email about it. So he gives me his picks, and he takes SMU in the money line. I says, do you ever win? I mean, the odds were 5,000 to win 100 on SMU. 27-point favorites. He money lines it. You want to bet 5,000 to win 100? Good luck. You don't know what you're doing. Okay. You got lucky. You won at the end against Nevada. Fine. So you won. You had to risk 5,000 to win 100. Keep doing that. You'll lose the one. They almost lost. I mean, they scored late to win it, but and here it's 250 and then not 5,000. So go LA. The Mets at San Diego. San Diego 125-9. Jose Quintana 6-9 with the 4.57. Martin Perez 3-5 with the 4.67. Seems like an over, so we'll go over. SD over 9. 2 units. And The game of the day, Houston, Baltimore. Houston, 110, 8.5. UC Kikuchi, 6-9 with the 4.37. Dean Kramer, 6-9 with the 4.3. This is an over. Houston, over 8.5. We'll go 5 units on this one. This is a big one. You got two terrible pitchers, both 6-9 with 4.3 ERAs against Houston and Baltimore, and it's only an 8.5. All right, we're going over there. So to review my picks: Atlanta 2 units, Boston under 9.5 2, Yankees over 9.3, Toronto over 8.2, Cleveland under 8.2, the Cubbies 3 units, Detroit over 9.2, KC under 10.3. Minnesota over 8.5, 2, Seattle 3, LA 3 units, San Diego over 9.5, 2, and Houston over 8.5, 5 units. That, my friends, is baseball. And you got that one game. The Atlanta game starts in a half hour. All right, let's go to the NFL and let's look at preseason. I don't know why we're looking at preseason. I love this. So it says, here's the headline: Bryce Young has solid outing while Steelers take. Did he have a solid outing? Really? Let's look at Bryce Young's solid outing. The guy sucks. So let's go. Where's Carolina? All right. So Carolina wins 31-26, but Steve Young had nothing to do with it. Again, Steve Young oversees opening drive, touchdown, and brief thing. So he gets a touchdown against the second or third team to open the game. Let's look at his stats. Steve Young was 6 of 8 for a whopping 70 yards and 1 touchdown and takes a sack. Is that good? I don't know. You're not talking about the starters. All right. Did he even have, I don't know, his starting receivers? Chuba Hubbard, 3 for 15 running. And receiving, I don't know who his starters are. Adam Thielen, 1 for 21. All right, so he threw to Adam Thielen against the second or third string. Big fucking deal. So they make a big deal out of it. Well, I guess we should analyze this game. So Plummer from Louisville, 21-29. He's much better than Steve Young. 278 yards and 2 touchdowns. Why aren't they talking about Plummer? A. Brown, 11-12 for Buffalo, and Ben DiNucci. What the fuck is he doing there? So this is where I have the problem with the coaches. You got guys that suck. Ben DiNucci is wasting time in a preseason game from the guy who needs it, which in this case would be Josh Allen. So Josh Allen, he's so good. He doesn't need preseason snaps. How many playoff games has he won? Did he win any? 1 or 2? How many Super Bowls has he won? Oh, yeah, he's never been. He doesn't need preseason reps. Okay. Because you see how good they are when he doesn't get preseason reps. Okay. Unbelievable. And this is the last game. Next week's a bye for some reason. And then they'll make Philly and Green Bay play in Brazil. So I don't get the bye next week. I don't get the players not playing. They might get hurt. What do you think is going to happen in the first quarter of the first game and they're not prepared because they haven't played in a live game, just practice? How good are they? How good are the Lions going to be that first quarter next week? More important, how are they going to do in game 2 when all of them have pulled hamstrings, calf injuries, knee injuries, and they're all sore because they haven't played in a game? Unbelievable. And everybody loves this coach. He's so smart. I don't see it. I don't get what they're looking at. I don't smell what they're cooking. All right. So it's hard to even go through this because we know DiNucci sucks. I don't know who this A. Brown, 11-12. Let's take a look at who this guy is. Anthony Brown, from Oregon, undrafted. He wasn't their quarterback last year. It was Bo Nix the last 2 years. I don't see why they would, why are they wasting time just so they don't get injured, I guess. Whatever. Frank Gore Jr. did rush for 100 yards. I guess they don't care if he gets injured. Hamler is not a running back. He's a receiver out of Penn State. Receiving, I don't see anything on Carolina except for Adam Thielen. Buffalo, nobody. Hamler, Frank Gore 1 for 0. So you don't really see anything. So let's, so I love these headlines. Oh, look how good Steve Young looked. Yeah. Good game today for you guys who bet anything. Tennessee's 4.5 over New Orleans. I would take New Orleans with Jake Haener and Rattler getting 10.5. Tennessee doesn't have a quarterback. So I don't see how they might win, but it'd be a close game. But is Haener not playing and is Rattler not playing? That's the only problem. Denver 3-34 against Arizona. Bo Nix is the starter, as he should be. Look for Denver to be a very interesting team this year. Should be good, but it's going to take a few weeks, I think. I would like to see Bo Nix play at least a quarter tonight to get him ready because it's a bye next week. You can throw all you want in practice. It is not the same speed as playing. It's like practicing golf at the driving range. It isn't the same as being on the course. When you hit your driver, then you hit your 7-iron, then you chip, then you putt, then you hit your driver again. How can New England be 6.5-point favorites over anybody? Well, I guess they got Zappy, but Daniels probably won't play. But he looks pretty good, Daniels, and Bo Nix looks good. Penix, they need to get in there. And Drake May sucks, and McCarthy's already out. Caleb, good luck with that one. Jacksonville 31, Atlanta nothing. Penix didn't play. Who cares? Tampa 24-14 over Miami. Trask had a good game. Let's look at Trask. Trask 17-24, 141 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had a pretty good day. Mayfield was 3 of 3, meaningless. And then Miami, Tagliavoa doesn't need any practice. He's such a good player in the big games that he doesn't need practice. No running by Miami. These teams don't run enough. They want to. It's the same offensive coordinator on every team who runs the same stupid plays. And then it's 4th and 1. They run up the middle. And wonder why they don't get it. Just terrible coaching. A few have good coaching. It's pointless to really go through too much. Oakland and the Niners play a 24-24 tie. Let's look at our quarterbacks. Oh, Brock Purdy has mixed results. Oh, really? Let's see Brock Purdy. He got you to the Super Bowl. I don't think we're really looking at results here. Brock Purdy, 9 of 12 for 96 yards. What's the problem? Joshua Dobbs, why is he even in a preseason? The guy sucks. He's played for half the teams. They all release him because he sucks in the big games. What's he doing here? See, I'd rather see Tana Mordecai is a good quarterback from SMU, 2 of 4, and you're giving Dobbs 8 of 10. Oakland, Bradley, I think he's from South Alabama. And what is Peterman doing there? Peterman sucks. He throws all these interceptions. What is he taking reps away? Where is Minshew? And O'Connell should be getting the reps because O'Connell sucks and Minshew's got problems running the ball. Schrader, my guy from Missouri, 7 for 27. I guess they're not worried if he gets injured. But if McCaffrey gets injured, you're going to need him. He's very good. And finally, my guy is in for Oakland. Sincere McCormick from UTSA is a fantastic running back. Very elusive, very hard to tackle. 5 rushes, 26 yards at the 10-yard line. Their best running back. Get him in the fucking game. This is what I didn't understand about the other Oakland coach. He never even played the guy. The guy sat out the whole first year. And then he wonders why he got fired. Now here comes Aaron Pierce. Look who he's doing. Sincere McCormick, 5 for 27. This is the guy that you want. Receiving, Frisco, George Kittle, 3 for 34. Deebo Samuel, 2 for 32. Now, this is going to take me off to my next topic on terrible coaches. Here you got Brock Purdy in the game, and who's he throw to? Deebo Samuel and Kittle. But yeah, when you get to the backup quarterbacks, why aren't they throwing to Deebo Samuel and Kittle? I mean, if the quarterback gets – so why do you have the backup quarterback? All right, because in case there's an injury. So wouldn't it be prudent if there was an injury to actually put in the backup with the starting receivers to give them timing and chemistry? But no, we can't do that. And then you say, well, Purdy, look how good Steve Young was. I mean, at least put the starting receivers with them because that's what you're going to need in the game. And I go to the Lions. Hendon Hooker looked great, right? But he didn't have St. Thomas and they really only have one receiver, and then they have a tight end. Why aren't they out there with him? He played the first half. He looked really good. I saw 2 touchdowns. I was on the bike. I had the Lions game on in the club, and then I had the Florida State game on. So I'm critiquing the Lions and how good Hooker looked, and I'm yelling, Hooker should be the starter because everybody seems to fucking forget he put up 50 on Alabama. And but everybody forgets that for some reason. He can't play. He hasn't played. And then he looks good, and you're like, well, of course he looks good. And then they get this other guy from Georgia. He was there before Stenson Benson. He was pretty good. And he looks good. Well, don't you watch college football? Don't you see Georgia? Yeah, he did look good. He looked good at Georgia too, just like Stenson Benson. That's why I don't understand some of these guys. CJ Stroud did not look good at Ohio State, and Drake May didn't look good at North Carolina, and yet you drafted him. Richardson didn't do anything at Florida. So I don't understand if they don't do anything in college, why you're so quick to draft them and start them. How the hell is Anthony Richardson starting? Guy should be on the bench. It's Trey Lance all over again, right? All right, let me see who just texted me. But my point is, why are they... Why don't they let the backup quarterback throw to the starting receivers? We can't get them hurt. Well, I would say every receiver who didn't play in the preseason is going to get hurt in week 1 in the first quarter. As soon as they start running routes, they're going to pull their hamstrings, hurt their knees, pull their calves. They will all be injured in the first quarter of the first game because they didn't play in the fucking preseason because they're not ready. They're not ready to get hit, and they're not ready to run the whole game because they haven't. Practice is not the same. running in practice versus a safety is going to take your head off over the middle and you got to catch the ball and worry about getting hit. Where's Jack Tatum when you need him? And then you're running go patterns at one after another. And then you got to block, which you didn't do in practice. That's why Kelsey plays. Kelsey's ready to go week one. You think Lamar's ready to go? He didn't take a snap. You think he's ready to go? Yeah. Even if he played every down of every preseason game, he's not ready to go. So I don't get that. Why they don't go to the why don't if Hooker for Detroit's playing, where's St. Thomas and the tight end, and they got to find the second receiver. Although I'd say that kid from Illinois looked pretty good. He should probably be the second receiver. They only have one receiver and then they have a tight end. Everybody loves the GM. Yeah, he's wonderful. Wow. Anyway, that's really my pet peeve is you're trying to get the guy ready. So you use the third string receiver so they don't get hurt. Why do you have why do you have the backup quarterback out there? You don't care if he gets hurt or he needs playing time. Yeah, but he's not playing with the starting receivers, so it's worthless. He's not getting chemistry with the starters. You throw him out there with the fourth string, and then you go, oh, he looks bad. I was watching the little bit of the Lions when I was on the bike, and they're dropping balls. He's out there with guys that can't even catch. There was 2 or 3 guys he hit right in the hands, and they dropped the ball. And then you want to, look at Hooker. He didn't do it. He wasn't good. No, he had 3 balls dropped right in his hands. It would have been touchdowns. Don't tell me he doesn't look good. So Hooker should be your starter, but they're too stupid to do it. So there's not much you can do. But my point is, why aren't the starting receivers playing with the backup quarterback? Because the only time you're going to use the backup quarterbacks if your starting quarterback is injured. And then you're going to throw in the backup quarterback who's never thrown to the starters. It's incredibly stupid. These coaches have their heads so far up their asses. They don't know what they're doing. I don't know why how they got the job. How are these guys coaches? They're idiots. You have the guy in LA, McVay. You had Coach Pete, you let him go. You had Vrabel, you let him go. So the guys who could coach, you let go. And then you had, it's all the owners wanting this wide open offense. They don't want a good defensive team, except for Pittsburgh. We'll see Russell Wilson. I'm sure he's fine. Give him time. You've got to get the timing with the receivers. You're not to give them 10 snaps in a preseason is not getting Russell Wilson ready. You'll need 3 games to get the timing down with his receivers, who will all get hurt because they're not playing. Week 1's extremely difficult because none of the players have played except for KC and a few other teams that use their starters. Otherwise, how good's San Diego going to be week 1? Will they score? Dallas, they don't use Dak. God knows Dak needs to work. Trey Lance is out there throwing interceptions and running around, playing high school football. It's all high school. He's sitting there. All he does is he runs for 100 yards, 200 yards. He throws for 50. This doesn't work in the pros. They are going to sack you. They are going to force fumbles. The defensive ends are faster than you. This is what these guys don't understand and why it doesn't work. They're faster than C.J. Stroud and Trey Lance and all these and Lamar. I mean, good luck. Let's see. Green Bay 37. It's useless. Nobody played. Mini 26-3. So this is what confuses you. See Minnesota. Let's dive into Minnesota. 26-3 over Philly. Jalen Hall leads Vikings. Who the fuck's Jalen Hall? So if we look at the scoring, Jalen Hall, 17 of 25. He's out of BYU. 2 touchdowns, whippy-do. Matt Corral, I think he's out of Ole Miss, 4 of 6 for 13 yards. See, I love these guys. 4 of 6, but 13 yards. So he's throwing what? 4 completions for 3 yards. Yeah, this he knows how to quarterback. At least Hall was 17 of 25, threw for 189. Philadelphia. Oh, Jalen Hurts doesn't need reps because he's so good, really. Tanner McGee, why is he out there? He sucked at Stanford. Pickett, 6 of 9. And Will Grier, who's their best quarterback, 4 of 6 for only 16 yards. None of them throw for touchdowns. It's ridiculous. Will Grier should have had the whole game. He's the best quarterback of these three. Pickett sucks, we've already seen. And Tanner McGee, what are you wasting time on Tanner McGee? So what's your theory there? Well, we don't want to get the other quarterbacks hurt. Well, let Will Grier then at least play the first half. Fuck, that guy's a superstar. You don't even play him. Pickett, we know, sucks. We've seen him at Pittsburgh. He's terrible. And then we got Tanner McGee. We've seen him at Stanford. He sucks. I don't know why all these Stanford quarterbacks get picked. They're not Andrew Luck. They're terrible. Greg and John, TK Raiders played okay. That rookie quarterback looked okay. Because then you can't look at preseason. The rookie quarterback, when did he come in? And, who's his receivers? As I just pointed out, is he throwing to the starters? I don't think Brock Bowers was out there. And so everything you say doesn't make sense because he's not throwing the ball to Brock Bowers and Devontae Adams. So how do you know he looks good? And then they're not playing the starters. So it's like you're playing the third string. That doesn't mean anything. That's all meaningless. It's all meaningless junk, unfortunately. And then the players that should be out there aren't out there. That's the part I struggle with. These guys need work. I mean, Jalen Hurts, you're not starting him. You got a new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. And you're not letting Jalen Hurts get used to that? Well, he is in practice. Yeah, well, that does not translate to the game. It's like batting practice in baseball or driving range at golf. There's no correlation between that and actually playing. What's the point of these games? There is no point. The point should be Philadelphia. The point of the game should have been to get Hurts out there for half a game, to get Brown out there and the other receiver from Alabama, and to get used to Saquon Barkley. Did Barkley play? No, Barkley didn't. Davis, Price, K, Milton, McGee, Pickett, and Nichols. So we don't care if Davis Price gets hurt. We don't want Barkley to get hurt. So you think Barkley week 1's just going to come in against Green Bay and just light it up? He's never played with the offensive line in a real game, just in scrimmage, which doesn't count because nobody's tackling anybody. Nobody's blocking. They're not even going at full speed. And then he's ready for the game, right? Let's see Barkley. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt, but first 2 weeks, I'm sure he'll be hurt. I'm sure Hurts he'll take 3 weeks to get used to Kellen Moore, and Kellen Moore to get used to what plays I can call for Hurts. You can't look at practice. I'm going to call this play. Well, it was open in practice. Yeah, okay, but not in a game because you don't know who the cornerback is and all this other stuff. So there is no point. Well, so what do you do in the regular game? Look at baseball. Look how it's ruined baseball. Well, he can only pitch 100 pitches. We might hurt his arm. He might get hurt. So he can only go 100 pitches. Yeah, we know Nolan Ryan had 200 pitch games. Guy never got hurt. Roger Clemens, Jack Morris, Bob Gibson, Sandy Koufax. I mean, you can go down to Whitey Ford. I mean, these guys, they didn't get hurt. Why is 100 the magic number? It's the stupid curveballs they're trying to throw. That's why they're ruining their arms, not because the number of pitches, but the pitches that they're trying to spin it. Again, they listen to some idiot who says, oh, the spin rate. Spin rate doesn't mean anything. Throw a curveball. Imagine that. Sandy Koufax threw a curveball. I don't know if he spun it. All I know is he either threw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball or he threw the slow curve. He did okay. Same thing with Gibson. He just threw hard. Right, Nolan Ryan, I don't think he spun the ball. He had a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and if you could see it, you could hit it. And then everybody needs to throw 95. There's not that many people that can throw 95. I thought I could throw fast. I played ball. I went to Cedar Point, and they had this little machine. I don't know how accurate it was. So I took it, okay, what's my score? So I threw the ball really fast. It was 59 miles an hour. I don't know if it was really working and if I only threw it 59, but I threw it pretty fucking hard. I said, how the hell do these guys throw 90? If I threw it really hard, and I played sports, I played baseball, and it was a 59, it was crazy. Mariano Rivera, nobody could hit. And all he threw was a fastball. It's all location and it's all fastball. Now it's too technical. Well, they got to throw in this zone and that zone and change eye level. And then they change all the names. That's very communistic. The curveball is now a sweeper, or where's the screwball? Where's the knuckleballs? It's a sweeper. It's I don't think they call a curveball a curveball. It's a four-seam fastball too. I love how you're listening to the game or watching the game on TV, and it's a four-seam fastball. How the fuck do you know that was a four-seam fastball? You don't see the guy's hand. He throws the ball. You have no idea what the pitch was. Don't give me this shit. It was a four-seam fastball and a two-seam fastball. Bullshit it was. No more knuckleballer. There's a guy the Tigers played last week threw a knuckle curve, I think on the White Sox or something. That was always a hard pitch to hit because it was slow and it moved. So it comes in like this, and all of a sudden it does that. You can't hit it, but it's just a change of speeds. But it's basically everybody throws 95. So one pitcher after another, and then the bullpen. You cannot have 10 guys in your bullpen. You cannot have 10 major league pitchers in your bullpen that are any good. That's impossible. You have maybe two. I mean, I look at the closers, except for Cleveland, maybe a few other teams, the Yankees. The Tigers closers got like a 3.5 ERA. This guy's not a closer. And then they switch them all off. Well, he pitched today. He can't pitch tomorrow. He pitched yesterday, and then he can't go tomorrow, or he can't go today. They're so fucked. This is too weird. There's too much bullshit information they're listening to. It's like listening to inflation, and they say it's prices, and you're like, prices aren't inflation. It's the money. It's printing the money worthless. They really shouldn't even call it inflation. They should say the money's worthless. And then they try to percent the inflation, which isn't real, and then they do year over year percentage, which isn't real, and it's not the way to do it. But for some reason, that's how they do it. And they go, oh, look, inflation's fine. Bunch of bullshit. Anyway, so that's preseason football. So let's get to week one. My boys. I'm not even going to look at the line. I know what the line, I looked at it yesterday. So we got KC Baltimore on the Thursday night. They get their rings. KC's 2.5, 47. Lamar against Mahomes. Last year, both teams had 17 defenses. I don't see there'd be a change. Baltimore 7-1 is a road dog, and they are a road dog here. But you got Mahomes and Kelsey and Pacheco all played in the preseason. Lamar didn't, so that's a huge advantage, KC there. Green Bay, Philly, Friday night in Brazil. Like they both from the north needed this extra flight to go all the way to South America and Brazil. For people that, believe me, they're all into soccer with Pele. Nobody cares about American football in these countries. I was in Germany. I asked the guy to turn on the pro game, and they just laughed at me. No, we watch soccer. We don't watch American football. Nobody cares about it. What the fuck are they doing with these games there? Good God. I don't care if the game's in Germany or Japan or Chicago. It's just I want to watch the game. So we got Philly with the 25 defense, which you don't know. That was with Matt Patricia, who's the worst defensive coach I've ever seen. Green Bay with the 21. They played pretty well defensively. Love against Hurts. Love's played a little preseason, not enough. Hurts hasn't played any. If anybody needs it, it's Hurts. Yeah, they were wonderful going, what were they, 1-8, the last 8, losing to fucking Tampa Bay in the playoffs. Green Bay's 8-0 as a road dog, and Philly is bet against 7-1 as a road favorite. This is a road game for both teams because this game ain't in Philly. Love against Hurts, so we will see. Again, I think we have a good feeling at KC Baltimore. It shouldn't change. They're not new, right? They shouldn't have changed much from last year. Green Bay, Philly. We saw Green Bay come up at the end against the Niners and Dallas. They scored a lot of points. We will get that, but at what point? Will it be week 1 or will it be week 6? Because you didn't play the preseason. Then you got Philly, who sucked. Jalen Hurts sucks, and now what are you going to do? You got Saquon Barkley. You don't play him in the preseason, so his preseason starts week 1. Well, we know he's good, but how's he going to fit into that? Because it's more of a passing offense, or Hurts likes to run, and what are you going to do with that? They must get big money. I assume, Greg and John, you're talking about to go to these other countries. Well, don't they get big money here? If the game was in Philadelphia, wouldn't they get big money from Fox? Like, how is it any different? I mean, how much can Brazil, like, do they give a fuck? Believe me, this isn't Brazil saying we want a football game here that nobody's going to care about because we all want to watch soccer. This is the NFL going to Brazil. I can't see Brazil paying. I assume this is the network doing a Friday game. This is Peacock paying a lot to get the game on Peacock. Look, it's from Brazil. Like, nobody gives a fuck. Are we supposed to carry the games in Brazil? If I want to look at Brazil, I can go on YouTube and go, give me Brazil, and let me see the things in Brazil. Insane. Again, so this is where no preseason. We don't want to get anybody injured. Hurts, Love, all the receivers will be hurt middle of the first quarter. They'll all have leg injuries, and they're going to get hit, and they're not ready for it. That's why it's so sloppy the first few weeks. Nobody's tackled anybody. Nobody's blocked anybody. You can't just go out and do it. You can't just go play golf. You have to get your timing down. You have to go to the putting green and putt and chip. You cannot just go out and think you're going to have your timing down. It's got to be Dario, right? Class is going on. Forgot to take my picture for the girls. So anyway, You can't just go play golf. You can't. You've got to chip and putt and get the feel of the club down. Even the pros struggle because from one week to the next, they make too much. The guys that swing very hard have no chance to play consistently. Tiger Woods, how many injuries did he get? He played. He was good for a while, but he was very lucky on his short game, and he had a very long drive, but it was very inconsistent. It was all over the place. No, there's no. I watch golf now. I laugh. I don't know who any of these guys are. Xander softly figured out he stopped choking. He had to go see a psychiatrist or something. But most of these guys are they don't know how to swing to have the same swing every week. And this is the problem in football. You're going to throw Jalen Hurts out there, hasn't taken a snap since losing to Tampa in the playoff game last year. Snaps in practice don't count. He's not getting hurt. He's not running around from guys blitzing him. And he has no timing with his receivers in the game, just in practice. So if you think this guy's going to come out in the first quarter and start throwing the ball, you're out of your minds. Maybe these little short passes, but he still can't read a defense. That's why he needs practice to learn how to read the blitz and how to read a defense. He has no idea. All right. Pitt and Atlanta. Atlanta is 3 for some reason. Wilson, I guess. Cousins, if he's ready. I have no idea. Pitt with a 19 defense last year. Atlanta with the 22. Over under 43. Wilson will start. Cousins, way overrated. Has no business starting here. He's terrible. Why did Atlanta go up to 3? I don't know. Russell Wilson played a little yesterday. He's got to get used to his players. How he didn't play at least a half each of these preseasons is beyond me. He doesn't know any of these receivers, especially Pittsburgh. They don't really have good receivers. They got decent running backs, but he hasn't played. He's just going to go play because he played at Seattle. This is curious here. So this whole game game 1 and game 2 are going to be really wait and sees with Atlanta and Pittsburgh. Arizona, Buffalo 6.5, 48. Kyler Murray against Josh Allen. Arizona with the 27 defense, Buffalo with an 18. Well, Arizona still have the shit defense. I don't even know who their coach is. Some nobody that sucks. This is the problem, right? And then you've got Buffalo. Their coach sucks, McDermott, and he hasn't figured out how to beat Mahomes yet. Josh Allen, who's very inconsistent, runs way too much. It's funny when he runs in the game. They're not worried about him getting injured, but in the preseason, they're worried about him getting injured. Those too many interceptions. Big arm doesn't mean anything. It depends which team you throw it to. He shouldn't have any problems here. Arizona's defense sucks, and they drafted Marvin Harrison with the first pick. He's not even that good, but he's offense. You need a defense. You got receivers. They didn't have any problems scoring last year. The 27 defense, they probably need a new defensive coordinator. Probably should have drafted a guy from LSU or Georgia on their defense, or maybe Iowa. Tennessee and Chicago. Chicago, why are they 4.5-point favorites? Based on what? Both teams had 22 defenses, but Tennessee lost their coach, Vrabel, who was a great defensive coach. I don't even know who the coach is on the Bears. They've been scoring points in the preseason, which means nothing. Caleb against Levis. Caleb, he won 4 or 5 games with USC last year. Against the good teams, won't look for Tennessee to blitz them and look for Caleb to throw 2 or 3 interceptions. This is a wait and see. Caleb is nowhere ready. Oh, he had a good half in game 2 of the preseason against the third stringers of whatever fucking team they played. Is he ready? Why didn't he play? Why didn't he play yesterday? Where was he? He doesn't need to work. Boy, if anybody needs to work, him and Jalen Hurts need to work. all these guys that played for Lincoln Riley need to work because in the pros they all suck. Cincinnati, New England, Cincinnati 9, 42.5. I don't know if it's Brissett or Zappi for New England, and we know it's going to be Joe Burrow. 7-1 is a home favorite, and New England was 6-1 as a road dog, but Belichick's gone. So New England, they'll be terrible. New coach who's never coached before. How the fuck do you? That's like hiring a CFO who's never doesn't know accounting. Or a dentist, you go to the dentist. Well, you're my first patient. I mean, it's like, oh my god. That's so. New England's a joke with this coach and Brissett, really. And Zappi's good, but will he be smart enough to use them? And then you've got no defense, no receivers. So, New England's going to be terrible. We know what to expect from Joe Burrow. Did Chase sign yet? Once he signs, then look out. Them in Kansas City for the Super Bowl in the AFC. Houston, Houston -2, 48.5. Stroud against Richardson. Houston with the 21 defense. Indy with the 24 defense. The best quarterback on Indy's Bean from Kansas. Will they be smart enough to use him? Case Keenum is better than Stroud, but they won't be smart enough. So you need injuries here. So if Richardson gets hurt, or when he gets hurt, and they go to Bean, he'll be like Joe Montana. Joe Montana was the 8th quarterback on the Notre Dame depth chart. They all got hurt, and he finally got in. This is how stupid coaches are. You got Joe fucking Montana, and you can't see how good he is in practice or get him in a game? Really? He won you a national title, but he was the 8th string quarterback. Richardson is terrible. He can run. He can't throw. Stroud. Let me see. He's going to run out of the pocket to the right, and near the end line, he's going to throw up a Hail Mary in the middle of the field, and hopefully it's not picked up. Okay. Except for when Baltimore was waiting for him, and, he threw. They got 3 points with him. His little game's up. Michigan had him figured out, but nobody remembers that either. Jacksonville, Miami 3.5, 48.5. Jacksonville with the 22 defense, Miami with 23. We got Trevor Lawrence against Tagliavua. Good luck with that one. I like how Mac Jones has been making strides against the 4th string with, in the 4th quarter of these games. All of a sudden, here comes Mac Jones throwing for 2 touchdowns. Yeah. If only you could play the 4th string in the real games, Mac Jones, you'd be fine. Oh, yeah, but you got to play against the starters, and we see how you suck. So, again, Tag, I think he played for 5 minutes in the preseason. Lawrence a little bit. They're nowhere near ready. Even when they're ready, they can't read defenses, can't read blitzes. Carolina, New Orleans. New Orleans 4.5, 40.5 over under. Young against Carr. Big trend on New Orleans, or big trend against Carolina. Play against them as a road dog, 9-0. Overall, they were 17-0 last year. Play against them in a teaser. Hayner's the backup. Plummer from Louisville is the backup for Steve Young. Carolina with a 25 defense. I doubt getting any better. New Orleans with a 19. See, the GMs and the presidents, they want the offense, but you don't win with the offense. You need defense, but they never go after the defense. So the first round of the draft, where you need your star players, they're getting offensive linemen and quarterbacks, and half the quarterbacks suck. Here, Hayner came in the 5th round. That was a steal for New Orleans. But you got to – this is where you get your stud defensive ends and linebackers and cornerbacks in the first round, not offensive linemen. In San Diego, not taking Brock Bowers will haunt them forever. Poor Jim Harbaugh. What an idiot he is. So Carr against Young. Young sucks. Oh, yeah, he completed a pass yesterday. Oh, my God. Uh, you know, I think we know New Orleans, not a bad team. Olave, Kamara, and the new guy from the tight end from Kansas and Carolina, just terrible. At New Orleans, yeah. Minnesota and the Giants. Both teams are 1 point favorites for some reason. That's about how you get the game. Over under 41 and a half. Giants had a 24 defense last year, Mini at 21. Darnold, I mean, he's terrible. I don't know how he's starting. You're better with Joshua Dobbs. Mullins is better. He should start. And then the Giants, Jones is terrible. He wants to run the ball. And then there's Danny DeVito as the backup. How the fuck did they still have Danny DeVito? Terrible draft. They should have taken a quarterback. God knows if they think Jones is the answer. So long year for the Giants. Oakland, San Diego, good game. San Diego 3.5, 42.5. Minshew against Herbert. Herbert has been hurt. Let's see. I'm sure he'll start. Stick's terrible. O'Connell's terrible. There's their backups. 20 defense for Oakland will be probably 15, 16 this year. And San Diego, 23 defense will probably be 15, 16 this year. Herbert's good, but he has no receivers. Thanks to Harbaugh, they got rid of them all. Minshew, he's got Brock Bowers. So talk to me when you see Brock Bowers and Minshew on the field. Then you can say he's bad. If he can't find Brock Bowers, I'll agree with it, but I don't buy that. I think he's pretty good. I seen him at Washington State, and he was pretty good at Indy last year. Why the game's on Peacock? Because Peacock paid for it. It's stupid. Of course it's stupid because nobody will watch it on Peacock. Yeah, if you go to a bar, but unless you're Philadelphia and Green Bay fans, I'm not going to waste a nickel. I'll just watch the score on YouTube and and then go. It's not a game where you're not running to a bar to watch it. You're not going to get Peacock for it. See, this is what is called a male investment in my economics. Is there demand for everybody to turn on Peacock to watch it? No. There's a reason it's Fox, CBS, NBC, because you want everybody watching, right? I mean, it's like somebody doing Coca-Cola doing a commercial, but it's not on ABC, NBC, or Fox. It's going to be on Peacock Network only. Well, nobody's going to see your commercial. So nobody's going to go and buy the game on Peacock. You'd be out of your fucking mind. What would be the point? To watch what? You're going to sit home on a Friday night to watch that? Yeah, I'll be at the lake walking. Anyway, it is stupid and they don't get it. That's how the NFL grew, was it was on CBS and NBC in the 60s and the 70s, and everybody could watch the game. And now as it's slowly going away, mostly in baseball, they wonder why nobody wants to watch it anymore. But you don't have good players in it, and then it's not on TV. You keep putting it on these strange channels that you got to pay for. Nobody's going to pay for it. And it's on cable, but I got rid of my cable. I'm not paying $129 a month when I could have Roku and not pay anything. So I just pay for my internet, which I would pay for my internet on cable anyway. So yeah, they just don't get it. They're trying to do that, and it's just really stupid. One tip for everybody who wears glasses. I was watching that doctor. So what you should do is take them off and just look focused. It strengthens your eyes because your eyes get so dependent on your glasses that it hurts. So if you're out walking, or I'm in the pool now, so I'm in the pool like this, and when I'm walking, or even when I'm home, I might look out the window. Just, for a few minutes, don't wear your glasses, look away. It strengthens your eyes. The professor. So Minshew and Herbert with no receivers, Minshew with Brock Bowers. Oakland could be, they can beat Kansas City with the defense. Again, the defense can beat KC. not an offensive team. So you've got to have a good the Lions could never beat KC. They don't have the defense for it. All right. So Bo Nix, Denver, Seattle. Seattle 5, 42.5. I'm not sure why. Seattle's 5. Geno Smith. He's got Metcalf and Lockett. That's good. The Ohio State guy's just a bust. What a waste of a pick. They got the guy Chenault, who's better. He's backing up, and then the guy from Georgia, McIntosh, is running back. They got Charbonnet and they got Walker from Michigan State. I don't get that. I mean, this guy's really good, and most teams don't have running backs, and this guy won't play because he's behind Walker and Charbonnet. They need to trade one of the backs. But that's smart. You need the running backs to win. So we've got Nixon Smith. Nix looks good. Again, it's preseason. Let's see him with his receivers. They got the running back from Notre Dame. Seattle's not a good home favorite. Play against 6-0. Again, that was with Coach Pete, but he's got to be a much better coach than whoever they have now. That's just insanity. Both teams with the 24 defense. So we will see. We're Oakland, San Diego, 2 good defenses. Here you got 2 bad defenses. But we'll see how Denver plays. I'm sure Sean Payton will get a much better defense. He had a good defense in New Orleans. Dallas and Cleveland. Cleveland 244. Prescott. I don't know if Deshaun Watson, he didn't play. He's complaining about his shoulder. He doesn't want to play. I mean, they should just let him go. You're paying him anyway, so you might as well let him go to pay him. Why can't you let him go and pay him as opposed to him being injured sitting on the bench and you're paying him? What's the difference? This way, Thompson Robinson could be playing, and then your backup's Huntley. I'd rather have them in there. Prescott, he's terrible, but good luck with that. Trey Lance, what is the point of that? And Cooper Rush is their best quarterback. Dallas 19 defense, Cleveland 21. Michael Parsons and Garrett are the best players on the field, so we will see. Washington, Tampa 4. Tampa with a 19 defense, Washington with the 31. They got a new coach. Daniels against the Baker. Trask has looked pretty good for Tampa. He needs to start. McSorley, is this Marty McSorley? I don't know. Daniels, he's very good, but they got to get used to him again. Why doesn't he should have played the first half of every game with the starting receivers? This is just incredibly stupid. So he doesn't have any timing with his receivers. He's good. He can run a little bit. They got to work on the 31 defense, or they'll be playing every game in the 40s. So we'll see. Tampa, I hate their coach. I don't know. Baker's all right. It's really the running game and the defense for Tampa, if they have one. LA, Detroit 3.5, 51. I'm not quite sure why Detroit's favored. The Rams are a much better team. They have a 22 defense, Detroit with a 30. Stafford's better than Goff. Stenson Bennett, better. And Hooker, both. Hooker should be starting, and Bennett will start when Stafford leaves. Again, a 22 defense against a 30 defense. I think with Puka and Cooper Kupp, they're going to light that Lions secondary up. Detroit, I don't know if they just take care of St. Thomas. That's all they got. And then the running back, so they'll try to run it. But the Rams they got some really good draft picks, their defense. They did lose Aaron Donald. We'll see what they are now. Are they going to be an over team with Puka and Cooper Kupp and Stafford? It's good. I think they got a Georgia running back. They'll definitely have the offense. And this matchup on the Lions is huge favor for the Rams. So we will see, but I don't know why Detroit shouldn't be favored here. I don't know, Detroit to win the Super Bowl. What are these people out of their fucking minds? That's the same people that had Spencer Rattler is going to start for New Orleans, and look how good Steve Young was for Carolina yesterday. Oh my God. These reporters, you can't pay attention to any of this. It's just bullshit. They're not reporting facts. They're just fantasy stuff. I would give you the facts. The last game, the Jets and the Niners 45.5. We got Rodgers against Purdy. We got the Jets with the 21 defense will be much better with Rodgers because he takes time off the clock. Frisco with an 18 defense should be much better. They got a defensive coordinator, fired the other guy who fucked up and cost them the Super Bowl because he didn't blitz Mahomes. But that's what you do. The Niners fire their defensive coordinator. Kansas City gives a 5-year extension to Spagnuolo, and the Lions keep their defensive coordinator who gave up 250 yards to CeeDee Lamb and Jefferson twice and Evans from Tampa twice and Pukanuka. Are you kidding me? So that's week one. Again, this is watch and learn. There's a few games we can trust Mahomes. We can trust Joe Burrow. We can trust Stafford. We can trust Daniel Jones will suck. We can't trust. We can trust Daniel Jones will suck, and Trevor Lawrence will be bad, and Tua will throw a couple picks, and Dak Prescott will suck. So there's guys that we know that we can trust what we're going to get out of them. So we can see that. And that's it. So that's football. So week one, be very careful of. My picks for college have been posted. There's 5 teasers, I believe. Could be 6. There's at least 10 games I like posted, right? So if you bought yesterday, you saw the games. If you haven't bought yet, you'll see them, or just sign up for the class for $25, and then we'll go through the games, and I'll give you the scores I think it will be. I didn't do it for the pros yet. I should put my score down. That's what I expect the outcome to be. And I'm not trying to hit the score exactly. If I put down 28-24, I'm not. Yeah, it's approximately, there'll be 50 points in the game, and this will be a close game or not. Or if I put down 35-0, then I'm showing you it'll probably be a blowout. Again, we're looking to bet against weak defenses with good quarterbacks, and we're looking to bet on strong defenses like Georgia and Iowa and, well, it was UCLA, Oregon, should be, Utah. Nobody's talking Utah. I don't understand why. It's like they don't understand who Cam Rising is. He doesn't sell videos, so we won't talk about him. Okay. All right, I'm going to do economics. So an hour and a half. Anyway, so that's your baseball again. Let me read it. The first game did go off, Atlanta. I have Atlanta 2 units. Boston under 9.5. The Yankees over 9. Toronto over 8. Cleveland under 8. The Cubbies, Detroit over 9. KC under 10. Minnesota over 8.5. Seattle, LA, St. over 9. And Houston over 8.5. The game I don't understand is KC. Seth Lugo with a good ERA, very good pitcher, and the over-under is 10. I get it in Colorado because apparently pop-ups go for home runs. Kansas City gets Philadelphia with Seth Lugo pitching, and the over-under is 10. That doesn't make any. That's too high. So that's the other thing that I'm very adept at is kind of seeing like it should be an 8, Seth Lugo, and it's a 10. So you bet. I do that a lot with the overs on these 7s. Did I do that with the 7? No, I didn't see a 7 today. But if I see a 7 and I see 2 pitchers with a 4.5 ERA, I'm going over 7 every time. It doesn't make sense. Well, the White Sox don't hit. Seattle doesn't. Yeah, they hit against these pitchers. As bad as their averages are, every once in a while the blind squirrel finds the nut. All right, so that's it. So college football, again, Georgia Tech was the winner with the game next week. SMU pulled out the win, but it was a very, it was mostly Nevada keeping the ball away. Because when you look at the stats, Nevada They ran a lot of plays, not for a lot of yards and not for a lot of points, but they kept the ball away from SMU. So if they get, so is SMU's defense that bad, or is it just the surprise with the running quarterback? They weren't prepared for it. That's always the problem with the running quarterback, right? And then as you see it, then you see a few of them, and then you adjust, and then the running quarterback doesn't bother you again. So we'll see what happens, but that's the point. I think SMU plays next week. Let's see. Nevada does. Nevada's at Troy. Troy's 15 and 46.5. Are we going to get all excited about Nevada because they played, but this game's on the road? Their quarterback didn't do anything. He ran a little bit. I'm sure Troy's seen that before. So that's where the problem is. Did you really get a good read on Nevada? You got a good read on SMU. Stone threw for 250 yards, got the touchdown. He's a winner. He won the game. But at Nevada, thin air in the mountains. So, it was the first game. But SMU is a very good team. They'll get much better. Georgia Tech, Florida State. What do we got? Georgia Tech is who do they got next week? They're home against Georgia State. Georgia State had a 30 defense last year. Now, Georgia Tech had a 30 defense last year, but only gave up 21 to Florida State. However, it was Uglia Buglia, so that's kind of weak that Uglia Buglia got 21 on you. Over under 57. King's good. I love the coach on Georgia Tech. He makes good calls. This crossing route, a little sideline passer. He runs up the middle for touchdowns. Georgia Tech will score for you. Now, Georgia State, we don't know. A new transfer quarterback with the 30 defense last year. Did it get any better? So I could see Georgia Tech, putting up a big number on Georgia State, but I don't know what Georgia State's going to do. And we'll get a better grip on Georgia Tech's defense. So if they win 42-0, now we got a good idea. Georgia Tech's defense is really good. We know their offense is good. That's the question. Is their defense good? So we will see that. Anyway, that's about it. Time for economics. There's some brick stuff I wanted to talk about. And I love how all these guys come on YouTube like, the end is you got 10 days, you got 15 minutes to dump your stocks, and the stock crash is going to happen. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We know what'll happen. You can't time it. I got something from Egon on Twitter that I did copy that. A lot of it goes through what he already says and what we already know, but sometimes it's good to see Egon stuff. All right, www.teaserking.com. If you sign up for the class, we'll talk about when we want to do it. For college, probably Thursday or Friday, we'll do the class. I'll run down the games. I'll run down who I like, the point, what I think the score will be, and we can talk matchups. So I'll do that in the class. And same thing with the pros, but pros we got a week on. You can do that, and I got to make my scores for the pros because really the exhibition season was so helpful. Watching Danny DeVito and Tim Boyle, I mean, it was a joke. But again, I'll get better probably by week 2. After watching 2 weeks of the pros, I already have my Kansas Cities and Baltimores and Buffaloes. I already got that. It's the teams the middle teams that, we know Carolina sucks. Washington, we don't know. Denver, San Diego, we think will suck. Oakland, we think should get better, but we got to see the games. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful Sunday. www.teaserking.com. Sign up for the class, and we go through everything. Get the picks, and you get the picks. The picks are posted, so you'll get them. And again, you don't just buy the college. Obviously, there's no pros to put out there yet. I'll probably put the pros out in a week. There's no point. There could be injuries like last year. whatchamacallit, Travis Kelce, the day before the game on Wednesday said I can't play in the Thursday game. So we'll see about that. All right. Have a good day. And I will be back in a few minutes for economics. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. Be healthy.